All right, guys, welcome back to Bursting Bookshelves. And Gabriel, you have watched the new Count of Monte Cristo movie, the one that came out, was it last year, 2024?
Yeah, it would have been 2024.
Okay, I have not watched it yet. I kind of desperately want to.
Fighting the urge to spoil every single part of it. Which, I mean, technically it wouldn't be spoiling it because you already know the plot. But I mean,
Well, do I? Is it the same plot?
Yeah.
Same plot. Okay, that's good. At least they didn't change it terribly much.
They did change some things, but, it was, minor things that you're like, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, that's good. I like it when movies, keep it
There are
real.
some parts that they changed that are saddening.
Okay. Well, it'll probably be hard for me to watch it then. As a book purist, it'll probably be hard, but I'll still enjoy it.
So they say the book is always better than the movie, but I mean the movie wasn't.
That is usually true. Maybe not across the board, but usually. So you said that the movie is in French.
The whole thing.
So just like straight French.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that they picked naturally French-speaking actors to
probably
because there's one time where one character says 3 sentences in English.
It's like yes, more.
But it was because he was supposed to be a British dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of caption reading for us non-French people.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you're really good, unless Duolingo has done its part.
I'm working at it, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I'm not there at all.
All right. Well,
I really like the casting.
You do?
Yeah.
Who plays Monte Cristo? Do you remember?
Pierre Niney, I think. Ninney.
Okay.
If I mispronounce
Niney.
I am very sorry.
French names are a bit difficult.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are you about ready? Should we get into it?
I think so.
Okay. Let's go then. Alright guys, as I already said, welcome to Bursting Bookshelves, Episode 9. As of this particular moment, we don't have a name for this episode, but I'll put it up when I think of it, or Gabe thinks of it.
Or me.
Or you. Yeah, one of us will think of it at some point, and we will put it up. So this will have a name by the time it goes up, but for now it's just Episode 9. We're going to jump in on Chapter 68. So, Albert arrives in Paris with his mother and visits the Count of Monte Cristo. If you remember, they had been in the country so that they could avoid going to the Count's party at the Auteuil house so that they wouldn't have to see the Danglars and the people there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dumas specifically points out that the Count is less intimate with Albert than with some. They talk again about Albert's engagement and how Monsieur Danglars might like to break off the engagement so that he can marry Eugenie to another. He wants to marry her to Andrea Cavalcanti.
Yeah.
So, Albert invites the Count to a ball that his family is hosting. The Count initially declines until Albert says that his mother specifically wants him to attend. Then he's like, okay, fine, I'll come. The Count seems to specific a personal and emotional distaste and a disgust for the Mercier family. Because this, what Fernand did to him was so personal. What Danglars and what Villefort did to him was a little bit just dispassionate. They were bad guys. They did what they did. But Fernand was so personal. He went after the thing that Dantes loved the most. And so now he has the most trouble interacting with the Morcerf family. He doesn't like to shake Albert's hand. He doesn't like to touch Albert. He's not really terribly friendly with him. He's pretty friendly, but only in a cool, polite sort of way. So yeah, there's that.
Only in public.
No, even in private. He's nice, but he's not gushingly happy. Albert is gushingly happy.
Yeah.
That's chapter 68.
It's like meeting a celebrity in real life. That's how Albert. Yeah, pictures the Count.
Yeah, kind of like that. That's a good comparison. Yeah. So that's chapter 68. On to chapter 69. So now Villefort visits Abbé Busoni and Lord Wilmore, who are both staying in Paris. And he's trying to figure out who the Count of Monte Cristo is, because he's this guy knows something, because he figured out that the Count was lying about the baby he found in the garden at the Otay house.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, this guy's lying. He must know something about my affair with Madame Danglars. So he's trying to figure out who this guy is and why he knows anything about it. So Villefort learns that the Count's quote-unquote real name is Monsieur Zaccone. I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but it's, yeah, Zaccone.
Better than me.
Yep. So this is another alias to the list. It's like the fifth or sixth one. So we have Lord Wilmore, Sinbad the Sailor, Abbe Busoni, Abbe Adelmonte, who is the poisoner chemist dude, and the Count of Monte Cristo, and now we have Monsieur Zaccone, who is supposed to be the real Count of Monte Cristo. That's his real name. It's not, but
it isn't. But according to that guy, it is.
Yep. So Abbe Busoni lives in a tiny house with many papers where he studies. Lord Wilmore, who claims to be an enemy of the Count, is much more informative to Villefort and gives him a history of this Zaccone that allays Villefort's fears about the Count and how much he knows about his affair with Madame Danglars. So, according to this Lord Wilmore, the Count is kind of, he has a mine that's giving him all his money, like in Italy or somewhere, like a silver mine. And he bought the Otay house for its mineral springs, maybe. So, like, not a suspicious character, just a really rich, eccentric dude. So that's chapter 69.
Guy who cares about whatever.
Yeah, he bought it for some sort of water. I can't remember. I mean, it wasn't mineral water. It was something though.
Gotta have that lake access.
Yeah, precisely. All right,
so that he can get back to the island of Monte Cristo.
Oh, so you can get water. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, chapter 70. So the Count and Countess de Morcerf hold a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Again, all of the Count's enemies are in attendance. It seems like whenever there's a major event in Paris, like the cream of the crop are the Count's enemies these days.
Yeah.
The Villeforts, the Danglars, and the Morcerfs, the three most important families in Paris. I mean, it seems like
currently.
Currently.
Other than the royal family and whatever it is.
Well, they never appear. It's always just these three families are the most important. It's a novel. It's staged like that, of course. But it's just parties with these three families, mostly, and a few other guys.
Maybe they're like, obviously they're really rich, but they aren't nobles. Like they aren't like, wouldn't be in the king's court.
Yeah.
So,
well, nobility. This was after the French Revolution, so I do not know exactly what the state of the nobility was. It was not the same as it had been 100 years ago or 75 years ago. It was different now.
It wasn't like poverty, medium poverty, and then rich.
Maybe not quite the same way. It might have been like that, but not in quite the same way. Mm-hmm. All right, so Mercedes and Monte Cristo have an emotional interaction. They can't be in the same room without having an emotional interaction, it seems like. And Madame Villefort tells Albert about what her husband found out about the Count, so she's starting the little tendrils of gossip. They're just going to spread all of Paris now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So, including that his name is Monsieur Zaccone. The Count of Monte Cristo, for his part, will eat or drink nothing from the house of this man who stole his love from him, even when Mercedes, who was his love, has Albert press him to do so. Mm-hmm. Eventually, she leads her guests outside, away from the heat, herself leaning on the Count's arm. And by the way, he can hardly take this.
Yeah.
Her leaning on his arm, this is this is ridiculous for him. He can't hardly take it. Because he can't get over this emotional thing. Because we'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, chapter 70 and chapter 71. Madame de Morcerf, Mercedes, leads Monte Cristo into the garden where she tries to get him to eat some fruit from the vine. This is like, if he eats this, it's kind of like proof for her that everything's okay. She's very distraught by his cool, standoffish tones, and he refuses to eat this fruit that she offers to him. So she senses something here. Something's a little off. The Count is very polite, but he just won't have anything to do with Fernand de Morcerf, or Count de Morcerf. So she's getting scared. She's sad and frightened.
Yeah.
So then,
as one does.
Yeah. Imagine that'd be such a weird feeling.
It would be such a weird thing to have happen.
It's a weird book.
For real. It's like you got bigger fish to fry. You got Napoleon happening somewhere.
Well, Napoleon's done. Anyway. So Then Albert comes to tell them that, on another note, Valentine Villefort's maternal grandfather, the Marquis de Saint-Méran, the Marquis de Saint-Méran, has just died. Has just died on the way to Paris to attend Valentine's wedding to Franz. The death will delay the wedding. So this is like, okay, so we're on the track of the Morcerfs and Monte Cristo, what Monte Cristo is doing to the Morcerfs, and then boom, we're over to the Villeforts. What's happening with the Villeforts? And it's a very different and, frankly, much more tragic story than the Morcerfs.
Yeah, right. That's why
at least
she
at this
was
point,
grandpa, because her other one
just died. All right. So
the other one's paralyzed, so it's not much better.
Yeah, that's chapter 71. Then in chapter 72, the Villeforts, all of them, leave the Morcerfs' ball. The Marquise de Saint-Méran has just arrived in Paris after her husband's death.
Now that is the lady, right?
That's the lady. They're Marquis and Marquise, I think.
I don't know.
I think, yeah. So, it's kind of like the same thing as like, it's on the same level as maybe Count or Baron or something. Maybe a different level, but the same idea.
Countess, Baroness.
Yeah. So she is very distressed, as you would imagine. Her husband just died. She supports the marriage between Franz and Valentine. And this is Valentine had been hoping that her grandmother would support her in her marriage to Max, but that's kind of impossible because even though she loves Valentine, her grandmother would not have Max, even though she doesn't know about it. She would not have Maximilian because he's like a only semi-rich commoner. He's not part of the aristocracy.
Marriages back then were all for wealth.
How about wealth, position? Yeah.
It's like, if I can't get way too much power out of this, it's not worth it.
Yeah, power and money. So Franz has everything. He is the money. He is the title. He is all the stuff. But Maximilian doesn't. So the Marquise de Saint-Méran, she supports Valentine marrying Franz. Because what's wrong with it?
But
I mean, Franz is a nice dude.
Franz is still like traveling, right? He's not there yet.
That's one of the reasons why the wedding hasn't happened yet. He's not even in Paris at the moment. So, yeah, Valentine had hoped that her grandparents would be allies for her in her fight against this marriage, but they're not, or at least her grandmother's not. So, Saint-Méran orders that the wedding be held as soon as Franz returns to Paris. So she even makes the situation worse for Valentine and Maximilian because she's like, you guys got to have it now. I want it now.
She's like, I'm here. What are you waiting for?
Yeah. Well, actually, the next day she claims to have seen a ghost in her room moving her glass about. And also she says that her death is near. Like, just kind of like she walks into the house, announces her husband is dead, and then she's like, well, I'm going to die soon too. So have this wedding before I die.
This is the biggest pity party ever.
It's pretty sad because there's a lot of death coming.
That was like the whole medieval, I have to marry him or else I'll die of a heartache. It was a big theme in fairy tales or whatever.
Actually,
like a prince would actually get sick or whatever.
Maximilian is ready to kill himself if he can't marry
there's
Valentine.
that too.
It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, love, you can fall in love with someone and be passionate about them, but not kill yourself.
There is
don't
a line.
Kill yourself.
There is a line, man.
I feel like we can say that with confidence. Don't kill yourself over
don't
a
commit
love.
Suicide.
Do not do that. There is a better option.
Best advice Lestrade ever gave.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, chapter 73. Maximilian and Valentine, they have a talk at the gate. Maximilian's on the outside, Valentine's on the inside. They're talking through it, as usual. So they decide to elope after much indecision on Valentine's part, because she loves Maximilian very much, but she's like really, really scared of her father, and she it doesn't even occur to her to go against him until Maximilian puts the idea in her head. And so I think we're going to read a section about that if Gabriel's ready.
And if I stumble through it, it is 100% my fault.
Where's Tobias?
I think we've called each other actual names.
Yeah, okay. We'll come clean. Those aren't our real names.
That was probably
they're pen names
immediately.
It's kind of
actually,
fun anyway.
It is a pen name. I can officially say that it is a pen name.
Tobias Latham.
Yeah. It's 13 pages, but it was published, so I was pretty happy about that.
Okay. Yeah. It's a typing name because it probably was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to try to do a voice, so I'm just going to announce who's talking.
Yeah.
It might get confusing.
Because there are going to be two people talking here, male and female.
Yeah, okay. So this is after they decided to elope, or is it them deciding?
It's kind of them deciding in the middle of it, I think.
Okay. I might be just as confused as you guys. Valentine lowered her head. She was overwhelmed. Listen, said Morel, this is not the first time that you have thought about the situation in which we now find ourselves. It is serious, it is pressing, it is crucial. I do not think this is the moment to give way to sterile misery. That may be enough for those who want to suffer at their ease and have time to drink their own tears. There are people like that God will no doubt reward them in heaven for their resignation on earth, but anyone who has the will to fight will not lose precious time, but immediately strike back at the fate which has dealt a blow. Have you the will to fight against ill fortune, Valentine? Tell me, because that is what I have come to ask you. Valentine shuddered and looked at Morel wide-eyed in terror. The idea of standing up to her father, her grandfather, in short, her whole family, had not even occurred to her. What are you saying, Maximilian? She asked. What do you mean by fight? Rather, call it sacrilege. Am I to struggle against my father's orders and the wishes of my dying grandmother? Impossible. Morel shuffled slightly. Back to Valentine. You are too noble a spirit not to understand me, and you do understand me, dear Maximilian, since I have reduced you to silence. I fight? God forbid. No, I must keep all my strength to struggle against myself, and drink my own tears, as you say. As for bringing sorrow to my father and disturbing my grandmother's final hours, never.
All right, so
That's serious.
basically,
Good on
there's just like a little bit of a back and forth.
Yeah.
Maximilian's like, I'm willing to do like literally whatever to prevent you marrying Franz. And are you willing to do whatever to not marry Franz? And in that moment, she says no. She's scared. She must be a good
Which
daughter.
is the correct call in that situation. Say no. Like, that is the correct Christian thing to do in that scenario.
Well, Christian, the non-violent thing to do would be to love your enemies and do good to those that hate you.
Yeah, I guess that's
it's kind of hard to tell in that situation. Personally, I have not given a ton of thought to what I would do if I was forced into marriage. That doesn't seem like a legit prospect at this point.
If I was forced into marriage, something has gone wrong.
I don't know how I would do if I really.
I don't even know
it.
how that would happen.
But it's hard to tell what the right thing to do there is. But there's two different sides. Maximilian is like, and on his side, he is not going to lie down and let fate, chance, God, whatever else he may think it is, he's not going to let that run roughshod over him and do whatever it wants with him. He is going to stand up and fight it. He's going to do what he wants. He's going to figure it out. Punch. Right. But Valentine is willing at this point to submit to the will of those who are more willful than her father and her grandmother.
She doesn't want to hurt her family.
She doesn't want to hurt her family. She's kind of scared. Yeah,
so she's kind of, this might be weird, but it seems like she's more not thinking of herself per se, but more of what it will do to her family if she does.
Maybe. My personal opinion is that she's just too scared to stand up to her dad.
Yeah, maybe.
But
probably actually.
But Maximilian wins
normally when they're forced into marriage, they don't really want to go against it because that goes against every single part of their lives at that point or whatever.
Yeah.
So they don't want to fight it because they're like, whatever.
Especially if you're not a terribly like willful, strong person like Valentine's not, like it'd be really hard. But Maximilian does win her over. And the reason why he can do that is because she loves him more than anybody. So
even more than her grandfather, which is saying something.
Yeah, because she loves her grandfather. So
much.
I think if I remember correctly, the way that he gets her to come over to his side and agree to run away with him
is through the Count.
No.
Oh.
Is because he says that if she marries Franz, he's going to kill himself.
Well, that was one way to do it.
That was one way to do it. And it works for Valentine.
Because, I mean, Franz probably won't even show up.
He does.
Oh.
Sorry.
Dang.
He does.
I was going to say, you could just wait it out and be like,
so we're going to figure out.
10:30. Waiting was at 9.
Eventually, eventually he is going to be counseled to wait, and he does wait. But currently he's all go, go, go. We got to get this over with before Franz arrives, and it's too late. It's kind of
and the Count's like, no, man.
No, the Count's not in on this yet. He doesn't know yet. He doesn't know yet. This is
part
going
of
to
it
be
at
really
this
big when he figures it out, but he doesn't know yet.
Right.
We're going to get there. It's going to be in the next several episodes. It's going to heat up. It's going to be great. Can't wait to get there. But for now, he convinces Valentine to elope with him the next day.
Okay.
So the next day comes, and Maximilian shows up at the wall with the ladder and the coach waiting to take Valentine away, and they'll go like escape the country and live in peace or whatever. Valentine doesn't come. She just doesn't. Finally, Maximilian climbs the wall in search of her, and he goes into the garden. He's never been in this garden before, so this is like a big deal. If he's caught here, this is like a problem because he's trespassing and all these things.
They're like, "Ooh, what are you doing, buddy? Wrong house."
So instead of finding Valentine, he is forced to hide and eavesdrop on a conversation between Monsieur Villefort and the doctor, who is a cool character. We'll get into the doctor just a little bit more later. He's not a huge character, but he's a little bit of one. It's pretty fun.
Okay.
So he learns that the reason that Valentine has not come to him is because Madame de Saint-Méran has died. So he's dead now. So the doctor says that he suspects poison. Maximilian then sneaks into the house and finds Valentine, who takes him to Monsieur Noirtier, and he makes Maximilian promise to wait for him to make a move and not to do anything hasty in the meantime.
Okay.
So he's counseled to silence. He's counseled to waiting.
Can he understand the Noirtier as well?
Yeah, kind of. And he's using Valentine as an interpreter. He's using Valentine as an interpreter at this point. Eventually, he'll kind of figure it out a little bit, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, he's using Valentine as an interpreter, and he tells Maximilian to wait, not to take her away yet, because he has an idea. I guess he's going to figure it out. He's not going to let this marriage go through because he doesn't want it either. And this is the first time he's figured out about Maximilian.
Okay.
Wait, no, Valentine might have told him earlier. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but
I thought Valentine had told him, and he was he was in support of it, but not so much in support of it that he would go against.
Well, he hasn't known for very long. Valentine might have told him recently, I think.
Okay.
So that's chapter 73. On to chapter 74. So there is a sad, solemn funeral for both Monsieur and Madame de Saint-Méran.
They both died. She was correct.
So Morel is there, and he sees Franz and Villefort leave together. As he fears, the marriage contract is going to be signed that very day. Villefort is not waiting. He wants to get his daughter married. So everything is prepared. Before anything can happen, though, Noirtier sends word that he wants to speak with Franz. Monsieur Villefort, who has been painting his father to Franz as a senile old fool, does not wish it, but Franz insists. So Franz is actually a decent fellow. He wouldn't make a bad husband.
So Franz was kind of like, but do I want to? Is he second guessing it, or is he just like, yeah, whatever?
No, he's not second guessing the marriage at this point. He is just I guess he respects Monsieur Noirtier.
I can't remember if he was on, like, if he wanted to, and that's why they're forcing her into marriage, or if he's just like some guy that they were like, yes, you're gonna marry her.
I think he wants it.
Like, okay.
I don't know. He doesn't know Valentine very well, apparently.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was like, because I mean, sometimes forced marriages are literally forced on both sides, and so
I don't think it was forced on both sides. Franz probably they were like, okay, yeah, she's a pretty girl, I'll marry her. So, but he hadn't courted Valentine, I don't think.
Okay, yes. Straight to marriage.
Yep. So that's chapter 74. That was pretty short. On to chapter 75, also short. So Noirtier directs Valentine to find a bundle of papers in a secret drawer and give them to Franz, who is told to unseal and read them. They are an account of how his father, the General d'Épinay, was killed in a duel after attending a Bonapartist meeting. So if you remember, this was mentioned earlier in the book. Like way earlier, like at the very beginning. Like 700 pages ago. So after he reads the paper...
700 pages to go earlier.
So after he reads the paper, he demands to know who this president of the Bonapartist club was who had killed his father. Because it talks about this Bonapartist president.
Right.
But it doesn't give his name. And he was the one who killed Franz d'Épinay's father in the duel.
Okay. Okay, so then
So both Valentine and Villefort already guessed the answer, and Noirtier answers using his dictionary. He has a cool dictionary method of telling what word, and this is what he answers.
Myself.
Exactly. So he killed Franz's father. And Franz is like, what? I'm about to marry the granddaughter of the guy who killed my dad.
He's six-fingered man, that guy.
What?
Killed his father. Never mind.
Okay. So that got weird. So, on to chapter 76.
Princess Bride.
Okay.
Thing. Yeah.
So on to chapter 76. And like we were on the Morcerfs, we were on the Villeforts, now we're back to the Danglars. So skipping all over the place. So it's a fairly pleasant day of the Danglars. There's no cataclysmic fights or that sort of thing. So
yeah, look at that.
Yeah. So
nobody stole anybody's horses.
Nope. No horses, no
or
fights,
wives.
no. Oh brother.
Maybe.
So Andrea Cavalcanti comes to pay a visit to Eugenie, and he sings with her. The Count of Monte Cristo also visits, and then Albert visits. And far from being put out at seeing his presumed fiancée visiting freely with another young man, he acts delighted with it. So he's like, so Monsieur Danglars is kind of trying to get him to be mad a little bit about this, because he doesn't like Albert, and he kind of wants him to, I don't know, something. So yeah, there's bad relationship there. But Albert is like, yeah, cool. I like listening to them sing. Oh man, they're so good. Listen to them. So
wait.
He just digs and digs under Monsieur Danglars' skin, trying to get him as mad as possible. Albert thought it was hilarious, by the way.
So Andre can sing as well.
Yeah, he's a pretty nice guy, pretty cool guy. Actually, he's not. But
well, this Andre is.
Yeah. Benedetto. Anyway. So, seeing that Albert is delighted at playing this character of thinking it's just great when his fiancée is hanging out with another man, Danglars asks the Count to speak with the Morcerfs about breaking off the engagement. Yeah, it's very awkward.
Romance in books is the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah. So the Count of Monte Cristo is like, I don't really want to, but yeah, fine. Yeah, I will. He'll do it. So suddenly, Danglars is called away. The information that he has requested from Yanina concerning Fernand de Morcerf has just arrived. And if you see, we're already back to the Morcerfs. We're just on the Danglars, and now we're back to the Morcerfs again. So
time travel, but more confusing.
Yeah, this book goes all over the place. Yeah. So when he returns, he hints to the Count that the news is scandalous. Oh man, it's gonna be so fun! I can't wait till we get to that part. Oh yeah. Okay.
Anyways, on to a different part of the book.
Kind of. This is about the same, kind of the same part. So, chapter 77. That's chapter 76. On to chapter 77.
Oh, okay.
The Count and Albert visit Ida in her rooms. This is the Count's Greek kind of slave, mistress, daughter, friend.
Daughter.
It's complicated. It's really hard to tell.
I mean, it seems like the relationship that they have is like a father-daughter relationship.
Yeah, but it's also half romantic in some ways.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. But I wouldn't say that she's a slave, because she's completely free to run away, and he said it a couple times.
Well, he bought her as a slave, but yeah, he tells her she's free, and she's like, I don't want to go anywhere, I like you.
Wasn't it at the opera? It was like after the opera one time. They had gone, and he was like...
It was before the opera,
by the way.
I think it was before the opera. The first time we met Ida, he was like, okay, by the way, you're free, you can go where you want.
Completely free,
and she's like, I like it here, I can stay.
Yeah, she was like, no, I'm good, I'm okay.
Yeah, this is one of
right
the.
Here.
This is a nice positive relationship in the middle of all this treachery and
one thing he's got going,
and lust and whatever. This is a nice relationship.
Yeah,
but anyway,
the
Count and Albert visit Ida in her rooms.
Okay,
she tells Albert the story of her father Ali Tabelin's betrayal at the hands of a French officer. In a language Albert cannot understand, the Count tells her not to reveal to Albert the name of this man. It is a terrible story. And it ends up with her father, like, dead. He's, like, shot during a battle.
Yep.
Defending his home and his wife and his daughter. And her mother is dead. and she is sold into slavery. I mean, then she was bought by the Count, and now everything's good for her.
Yeah. That's why she was like, yeah, I'm good here.
Yeah,
It's like, sure, I'm free, but like, I don't want to be necessarily.
she's innocent. She's innocent, I'd say,
Yeah.
of pretty much everything. And she's a good character. All right, so
Saddest
that's
backstory
the end of
ever.
the chapter notes that I have. We're going through 10 chapters episode at this point.
Mhm.
We're winding up to finish in 13 episodes, as I've said before. But now we're going to get on to some character notes that I have.
Mhm.
So I've changed up the format just a little bit, make it a little more coherent. Let's see how it goes. So in chapter 68, so not for Dante's, I wrote that. So you can add Monsieur Zaccone, I already said this, to the list of aliases. Since Villefort visited Busoni and Wilmore on the same day, the Count had to rush between his two disguises. If you think about it, Wilmore and Busoni are the same guy, and they live like across Paris from each other. They're not in the same place.
At
So
all.
Villefort left Busoni and he like rips off his wig and I didn't say this, but I'm sure he did.
Well,
He had
yeah.
dashed in a carriage all the way to the other.
Villefort
the other
leaves
house.
before him, and he still manages to be there and collective enough to play Lord Wilmore.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Pretty good actor, I'd say. Wonder where he learned it. Like he learned in prison probably.
I mean, he is friends with Luigi Vampa. So maybe he helped him a little bit with his travel in between to get him faster. Maybe he knows a faster route or something.
Luigi Vampa is in Rome, not Paris.
Right.
No, he is all the resources. The Count has all the resources he can ask for. He has fast horses. He's all the money.
This book makes me confused in geological map basing.
Yeah. It's complicated. So then I have a note for chapter 70. I have a note about Mercedes. So I wonder, what does she think of the Count? I was stumbling around back there trying to articulate this thing because she seems to suspect something. She really wants him to eat this food and he won't, and it's really distressing her.
Yeah.
But who does she think he is? Like, does she really think that he is her long lost love, Edmond Dantes? Is she starting to wonder? Like, what does she think at this point? It's anyone's guess, I think. It's fairly...
Yeah.
I
mean, she probably has an idea. She's like, could he... I think she's thinking the same thing. Who is this guy? Could he be this? He can't, right? Like, it seems like that's what's happening in her brain as well. So it's like she's thinking the exact same.
Yeah, she went pale the first time she saw him. There was something about him that she just recognized. Maybe it was like the old lover's instinct. That's the guy. I know him. And then she starts to doubt herself. Then maybe it comes back, and she's like, "Yeah." And you pick out a face in the crowd, and you're like, "Oh, brother, I think I know that person, but I'm not sure." So
in the good way, though, where it's like, I know that guy.
But then maybe she doesn't, because is it the same guy? She might go back on herself. It might be a battle in her mind at this point.
I know.
I wish they articulated what she was thinking more.
No, it's a little bit different. I just can't place it. Who is this guy?
So yeah, she has observed his odd behavior and has acted oddly herself. I think she's beginning to guess.
Yeah.
And she's going to know by the end. So, on to chapter 73, skipping a chapter or two.
Mm-hmm.
So, about Valentine. She's very timid and sensitive. She's only stirred to bravery by her love for Maximilian. That's the only thing that'll do it for her. Yeah. So, that's kind of the end of it. She's going to follow Maximilian anywhere. He's the one with the energy and the ideas, and he's the one who spurs her on to all these things, this valor and this energy that she wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay, then Maximilian.
She's kind of like, sorry. I think she's kind of like, I don't know, not to be like mean, but like, seems like she's more of a more basic character, kind of, like, doesn't have as much to her as other characters do.
Yeah,
like Maximilian, he's got all this whatever. Valentine, she's mentioned a lot.
Yeah,
obviously there's something, but it's like seems a little minor.
So most of the characters in the Count of Monte Cristo are static, which means they just don't really change very much.
Mm-hmm.
Maximilian is kind of static. He doesn't really change. Valentine is kind of static a little bit. She changes. She changes the way she becomes more brave as she gets deeper into a relationship with Maximilian.
Yeah.
Like Villefort, Danglars, Morcerf, they're all kind of static. Now Mercedes, she changes into a different person because of her loss of Edmund and her marriage to Morcerf.
Her and Edmund go through the most change, but
but the person who goes through the most change is the Count of Monte Cristo. We're not done with him yet. There is more change to come yet.
Yeah, that's true.
He is the most unstatic of unstatic characters that you can possibly imagine in any book. I have not read. I can't think of any other character in any book that changes as much as this guy does. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The whole book is about how he changes.
It's like, at some point you're like, there's no way he can keep all those aliases straight. Like, there's no way. He's got to have, like,
he changes so often.
He's got to have, like, the outfit with the wig and, like, maybe a mask or whatever, like, labeled. This is this is
a room for just aliases.
That guy, and then has like a notepad there that just says, "And this is what all this and this and this and this."
Yeah, he changes. He goes in. Like, it wouldn't be fair to say he changes in one direction. He changes in like 3 dimensions, all over the place.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So most of the characters are static. Monte Cristo is not. I'm trying to think of any other characters that change a whole lot. Maybe Albert a little bit. By the end of he hasn't changed a lot yet, but by the end of the book, he's going to be different. Yeah. So yeah, static versus not static. What's the not static? Fluid. I can't remember that.
I'm not entirely sure what static means anyway. So
static means not changing. I can't remember the opposite term. Anyway,
so no makes sense.
Chapter 74. I had a note on Franz, and Franz is, I would say, unfairly slighted in this section. By the way, he comes back later. He's not going to marry Valentine because of the whole her grandfather killed my dad. So the marriage is going to be broken off. We'll get to that in the next episode. But he's like a kind, honorable dude. Yeah. There's nothing against him that Valentine really, really doesn't want to marry him. She just like doesn't love him.
Which probably, obviously that would hurt a little bit if somebody's just like, I don't like you. But like, he might not be too broken up about it, because considering he might not be completely in love with her as much as Maximilian.
No.
I think he's more like, I'm okay with marrying this. I mean, it's going to help me. I mean, her dad's
rich. She's pretty,
prosecutor.
She's nice.
Procure.
Procure?
However you pronounce that word, it's weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's long.
Her dad is this guy who has a lot of wealth and stuff, and it's not a bad marriage. She's not a bad person. I don't really mind it. So he seems like he's chill with it. Not really has any feelings in it per se. So,
but he's still nice. He's kind about it.
Yeah.
He respects Monsieur Noirtier's wishes, and he goes to talk with him even when Villefort tells him not to. Yeah. So yeah, good dude. So yeah,
even better.
Valentine just really, really doesn't love him at all. She just loves somebody else.
And she's like, ow. But okay.
Well, he doesn't even figure it out, really. He's just like...
I mean, if somebody
he just figures out... He just figured out that Noirtier killed his father, and he's like, okay, bye, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore.
So?
All right, so chapter 75, I wrote about Noirtier, is still very much alive. He's scheming and intelligent. This is a brilliant move on his part.
He can't smile, can he?
No, he can only blink. It's just his eyes. But this is a brilliant move on his part. Giving these papers to Franz, it makes the marriage unappealing to him. Mm-hmm. Villefort can't do anything about it. He can't force Franz to do anything. So it's making the marriage unappealing to Franz. I wonder how long he'd been planning to do this.
I mean, he had the papers in his desk for however long.
Yeah,
he probably put them there before he was paralyzed.
It's so perfect, though. Of course, it's a novel. It has to be like this because, like, in what other world would those papers, after sitting in that drawer, become so useful so quickly to breaking up a marriage? But anyway, so even though he is trying to protect Valentine, he is still haughty. He's not really sorry that he killed Franz's father. He's still a rebel, and he certainly does not try to make things easy for his son Viafor.
No,
He's just like kind of tossing him in off the deep end about this. Viafor is not happy at this
all.
point. No, not happy.
He's like, I don't like you at all.
Nope. He doesn't like his father very much. He probably doesn't like him
his
very much
father,
at all.
and his dad's like, okay, I can tolerate you, but barely.
Yeah.
Like, get over yourself.
So
I'm here for her.
then, chapter 76, Danglars has now decided to marry his daughter to Andrea Cavalcanti. This is weird.
Yeah.
Andrea is Eugenie's half brother.
Well, technically, not half.
No, her dad is Viafor, her mom is Madame Danglars.
Exactly.
But Eugenie's dad is Danglars, and her mom is Madame Danglars, so that makes them half siblings.
I guess, yeah.
So, still weird.
Which is one thing they did keep straight in the movie. I appreciated that. They did keep that part straight.
Okay. But still weird.
Still weird, yeah.
Oh man, it's gonna be an amusing scene when that is figured out. It's like, oh brother. Anyway,
It actually wasn't that amusing.
in the movie, or in the
No, it
book?
was very sad.
I'm sure it was sad, but I think it's gonna be funny.
Kind of. I didn't find it very funny. I was more like, ooh,
I didn't find it funny the first time I read it, but I think I'm gonna find it funny this next time when I read it.
Yeah.
Because the first time when I read it, I was annotating like crazy and not really. Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead. So, chapter 77, Ida. There is some connection between the Count de Morcerf and Ali Tebelin. We can kind of figure it out. I can tell you guys that the Count de Morcerf, Fernand, was the one who betrayed Ali Tebelin. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was the one who betrayed him. It's a little hard to
I
get
think
into exactly how he betrayed him because I'm not sure I completely understand it myself. It had to do a lot with diplomacy and Turks and people like that. But he betrayed him, and he did it on purpose to get money and wealth and power.
He was a French soldier, and he had gone there, what I can remember at least. It seems like he had gone there as kind of like an envoy? No, more to like get to help him, basically.
Yeah.
He, I think, originally went there with the idea of he's gonna like help this guy out. I mean, because he's French and this guy's not, so he has more power from the French Navy or whatever. So he's gonna kind of
Military and
keep him in touch. But instead, he's there. He notices how wealthy this guy is, and is like, I don't know, like that. So he like goes back to France that he's going to attack France, and so he, false information of an attack from Ali to France, and so France is like, well, we're not going to have that. So they send some other soldiers out there as like backup, and then he, at least if I can remember this correct, I think he was like interrogating him, and she kind of saw it through like a little hole in the wall. He was in a different room with Franz. They had taken her.
Franz is there.
Fernand. Confusing with all the names. No, but him and her dad is in a different room, and she can kind of see through like a crack in the wall. This whole conversation, he's like, the dad is like on his knees, and
I know.
Fernand, like,
I'm not
very gruesome murder.
Sure. Yeah, it was.
He murders him though. Like,
no, it was
to his face.
I don't think that's how it played out. I think it went with the Turks. I think how it happened was Ali Tebelin, the king of the Turks. The king of the Turks was either going to pardon Ali Tebelin for something.
He stole a ring and blamed it on him. Remember? It was a ring. There was something with the ring.
I'm forgetting something. I don't know.
I thought that makes more sense.
Yeah,
there was something with the ring.
There was something with the ring.
It was blamed on him, and that's what it was that triggered the whole thing.
I think Ida is going to tell that story again.
Hopefully.
In a later episode, so we can kind of hash it out. But I think what happened was that Ali Tebelin had sent this French officer to try to get a pardon from the Sultan or whatever, the king of the Turks.
But instead of getting that,
this Frankish officer, who was actually Fernand, we're pretty sure, I know,
decides he's gonna.
He like comes back with the Turkish Turkish soldiers, and
But he is
kills
the
Ali
one.
Tubler.
He is the one that kills him, and he's like does it at
Mm.
him.
I don't remember. It doesn't say whether he killed him or not. It said he was just like he was shot a bunch of times and he went down. Then in a gunfight.
Man, now I can't remember.
I can't remember. It's kind of complicated. We'll probably get into it a little more. I can't remember. It's kind of hard.
Oh, there is one. Is that all the characters though? Did I interrupt that?
I think I'm done.
Okay. There is one thing in the movie that made me just a little bit annoyed that I didn't mention at first. Is the Valentine and Maximilian thing.
Oh, you talked about that.
Yeah, they changed that out for Albert and Haiti.
Ida?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be very annoyed when I watch that movie.
Which makes more sense in the movie, the way that they do it. It makes more sense for it to be those two characters because of how he
Don't spoil anything.
is with Heidi.
Ida.
Even in the book.
Ida.
Whatever. Because, I mean, Maximilian is close to him, whatever, but he's not really like as much as son as Ida is daughter to him.
So, okay, spoiler here. There is a romance between Monte Cristo and Ida in the end of the book. So, is that not how it works? Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't do that. He goes off by himself.
By himself?
Yeah. I know.
Well, that is annoying.
It is, yeah.
You're
That was
right.
the one thing that I was annoyed with. I was like, okay, there's going what? Wait a minute, what's happening? What is this? No, stop, no. Oh!
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, but it was I could tell they took it from the Maximilian and Valentine thing. I was like, that is funny. They took those two characters and switched them with these two characters instead. Yeah.
Not a fan. I'm already not a fan.
So if one of your favorite parts of this book is that, I wouldn't suggest the movie.
Well,
Other than that, it was a pretty solid movie.
Not this movie. There are other Count of Monte Cristo movies.
Yeah.
I don't know how good they are. There are
not as cool, I guess.
there's a really old one from like 1936.
Which the old ones are just kind of weird sometimes.
I'm sure they are. This book has a lot of room for weirdness in it.
And the movies take that and they're like, expand.
Okay. Well, yeah. All the movies may not be quite as good as this one.
Yeah.
Maybe better. I don't know. I've never watched them. But you can watch. I would suggest watching a Monte Cristo movie at some point, even though I have not done it yet. I want to. But yeah, that is all of the notes that I have for this 10 chapter section. We will be out with another episode for too long.
Yeah.
Yep, we should. Hopefully by the time you're watching this.
It should be March.
Oh, no, it'll be like.
No.
This one's coming out.
April.
This one's coming out May 1st.
May
May
1st.
1st. Yeah, we're recording this a long time before it's coming out. But anyway,
Yeah.
hopefully by the time you watch this, there will be another recap episode out. If there's not, shame on us. We got in trouble for something. I don't know. But we couldn't record it. But we're going to, most certainly.
I see. Yeah.
Recap episodes coming. Or should be already out. I don't know. It's so hard. You record stuff before you put it out. And then you don't know how to talk. Third person, second person, first person. You never know.
I think with most stuff like that, they just don't mention that part.
Yeah, we're breaking the professional barrier at this.
We
point,
are 100%.
Yep, we're not very good at the professional barrier.
Not there yet.
No, the first problem is the professional bit.
Yeah, I think most of the listeners are mostly people that we know, or at least
not quite. I think we're getting there.
Or at least two people that I do not know.
Yep.
That are friends.
But we're doing this mostly for fun. We're having fun here. This has been great, guys.
Yeah.
Hope you keep on listening. Hope we get some people that we don't know listening to the podcast. If we don't have them already. I
don't know anybody in Russia.
Me neither. Yeah, Russian. Of course, that person hasn't listened for a while. So anyway, we will see you again before too long. Thanks for listening. Follow the show. Leave a comment if you can. And share it. Do all the things. We will see you next time on Bursting Bookshelves.